There was a huge war, battlefield within ISKCON. It was an intense battle because Tamal Krishna Maharaj was leading a very successful Sankirtan party, Bus Radha Damodar bus party, and he was making hundreds of devotees traveling all across America. And then he was discouraging, and the so-called was discouraging that why are you staying in the temple? Nobody comes to the temple. Let's go to the colleges where people are and let's make them devotees. And wherever they used to go, it was like a comet passing by. And there used to be, whole temple used to get emptied. And then the temple presidents had this issue, had the concern, who will do the backup, who will do the artis if everybody goes out? So then they went to Prabhupada and they kind of expressed that you are making so many temples, but in temples we need devotees to serve. And here is Radha Damodar Bus Party, which seems to be a very fascinating option where you don't have to do any service. Sometimes service can get monotonous and mechanical. Here they are on the edge of trying to make people devotees and all that. And then it was taken to Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada, he heard the whole case, and then he ruled in the favor of the temples and said, stop this bus party. And then Tamal Krishna had this argument, but the bus party is the one that is distributing the maximum number of books. And book distribution is so dear to you, how can you stop it? And then Prabhupada said, but book distribution is happening, but because of that, there is lot of harsh feelings, difficulties that devotees are facing. There is no proper Vaishnava relationships. Everybody is fearing. If you come, then you'll take everyone. So, yes, book distribution was very dear to Prabhupada, but then even more dear to Prabhupada was how Vaishnavas love each other, how devotees happily are helping each other, cooperating each other. And if you are stepping into some service, so a very strong statement that Prabhupada made. But Tamal Krishna Maharaj was not ready to accept. And then just in kind of frustration, he said that I might as well go to China to preach. China, Thailand, Singapore, all these places where you are not so, the government is not that open for us to come. So I might as well go there. And Prabhupada took it seriously. And then he said, you told you'll go to China, go to China. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, no, Prabhupada, I just made a statement like I'm saying, like I'll go to the moon. It was in joke that I said, it was not serious. And Prabhupada said, you don't joke with your spiritual master. And he said another that Vaishnavas do not joke. Now you have to go, and it was constant, and then finally understanding that most important thing is not results, it is the smile on Guru's face, on Prabhupada's face. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj took up this most historic, difficult venture of coming to this side of the world to establish Krishna consciousness, share bhakti. But the most amazing thing in all this narration, the narration itself was so beautiful. If any of you get chances, please do read that section. That usually every day the prasadam is sponsored. Someone or other sponsors the prasadam, like in any temples. So that day, The devotee who sponsored prasadam was not from Bombay, was not from India. She was from China. And one who was reading was not aware that somebody had sponsored. And in my 20 years of staying in the ashram there, I never read that somebody has sponsored prasadam from China to Mumbai. And then, reciprocally, the reading that happened was how Krishna consciousness came to China. Who says miracles don't happen? Miracles happen, we just don't witness them. So when I was reading that, I got all the more strength and inspiration to follow the footsteps of all the great souls that have come to this side of the world to share, in spite of so many challenges. And all credit to the current devotees headed by Devakinandan Prabhu and so many other Dinavatsal Prabhu that are taking it this ahead. In the world outside, usually a relationship starts with very romantic feelings. They say initially the couple is like lovebirds, and then later they become like angry birds. So usually in the world outside, a love story turns into a battlefield. But bhakti begins like a battlefield where there is so much battling going around for us to match the schedules. And moreover, in ISKCON, when you in Krishna consciousness, you are given additional time consumption practices like chanting 16 rounds, which take nearly 2 hours. And then people kind of they almost become breathless when this hear 16 mala karna hai to chant 16 rounds. So, but if we manage to engage into this battle with our mind, trying to make space for Krishna into our life, then eventually the battle of life opens up into the most beautiful love story with the Supreme that can ever exist. Not just, with some person, but with every person. So Krishna is inviting everyone to his divine party of love, dance of love. And each soul is, being called by Jagannath. Jagannath is having open arms. And, he cannot close his arms. He's ever open. Recently I was hearing one story of Lord Jagannath, that once the king, one of the descendants of Indudumna Maharaj, he visited Jagannath Puri. And when he took darshan of Lord Jagannath, so he was given a lot of different prasad, garland. But somehow the prasad that he was given was the laddu that was very hard. Ever eaten things that are so hard that you wonder, is this something to eat, something to play? Sometimes till good can become like that. You can actually beat up someone with a till good. So he tried to chew on this laddu, Jagannath Mahaprasad. And the laddu was so hard, he was not able to chew. And he tried, abhi Mahaprasad hai, fek to nahi sakte. So he tried to chew so hard that it cracked. And then he got to know the laddu didn't crack, his teeth cracked. And he saw one of his teeth came out in his attempt to bite into Lord Jagannath's laddu. So he became very angry and he went to the Pandas and he started to shout, "ये क्या लड्डू बनाया?" Is Hindi okay? Little bit of Hindi. Anyone doesn't understand? Okay. ये क्या लड्डू बनाया? ये देखो दांत टूट गया. How will Lord Jagannath eat such a laddu? And the Pandas said, "This is coming in our tradition. We have been feeding this laddu since ages." He said, "No. If you offer something, it should be nice to the Lord. Don't make such hard laddus. And if the recipe is like this, then stop making this laddu." So from the next day, they stopped making that laddu for Lord Jagannath. In 2-3 days, Lord Jagannath came in the dream of this king. And Lord Jagannath was very angry. "Who are you to stop my offering that has been done since so many years, ages? Why have you stopped offering of that laddu?" Because that was one of my favorites. Krishna's favorite laddu is we call Laddu Gopal, right? Why Laddu Gopal? Because Krishna's favorite is Laddu. Bundi Laddu. Motichur Laddu. If made well, that's one of the best sweets. Lord Ram's favorite sweet? Don't know? Kheer. Malpua. There is a story in Ramayana about Lord Ram eating Malpua in his childhood, his favorite. So Lord Jagannath chastised this king. "Why did you stop?" So the king naturally replied, "Bhagwan, itna kadak hai wo. I thought it is inappropriate to feed you this laddu." And then Lord Jagannath said, "I know my tricks how to eat this laddu. So just to eat this laddu, I manifest my Narsimha Rupa." I manifest my Narsimha Rupa, and in the form of Narsimha, my teeth are like Vajra Nakha, Vajra Dhamshra. We read, right? The Lord Narsimha's teeth and his nails are like thunderbolts, very hard. So just for eating a laddu, Lord Jagannath transforms into Lord Narsimha Dev. So last week was Lord Narsimha Jayanti. Jagannath is Narsimha Dev. And a very sweet story that's on the day of Narsimha Jayanti, one devotee was narrating. So the Lord reciprocates with the love of his devotees. And this Gita is a song of love, the Bhagavad Gita. So let's read, before we start the verse, let's read together the glories of the Gita. So there are 4 pages, so we'll read together. Gita Shastram Idam Punyam Yappatet Prayatapuman Vishnupadam Avapnoti Bhayashokadivarjita Gita Dhyayana Shilasya Pranayama Parasya Cha Naiva Santi Hi Papani Purva Janma Kritani Cha Malanirmochanam Pumsam Jalasnanam Dine Dine Sakrat Gitamritasnanam Samsara Malanashanam Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimanyai Shastra Vistare Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmadvinistita Bharatamrita Sarvasvam Vishnu Vaktradinishritam Gita Gangodakam Pitva Punarjanmana Vidyate Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogda Gopalanandana पातो वत्सा सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्रगीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्मापि एकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपानये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे everyone loudly हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we are discussing the 10th chapter of the Gita. During COVID, I got the time to reflect on the Bhagavad Gita very deeply, and then I wanted to make each chapter of the Gita into something that is very presentable and relatable to with modern in the modern context. Sometimes Sanskrit terminologies and Vedic language can put people off or can make things very difficult. Like if I say Himagola, what is Himagola? Ice cream. Sometimes when we speak pure Hindi, then people say, if you use some English like words, what is photo called in Hindi? Urdu hai. Chitra. But usually when we say Chitra, then what comes to our mind? Huh? Chitra means something amazing. Chitra, Vichitra, or in the Chalanachitra means moving painting. Movie is called as a Chalanachitra. So the language that we use to convey can sometimes be difficult. So every chapter of the Gita, I try to make it into something easy to grasp. And in that journey, I found out something amazing. That each chapter name of the Gita, each chapter number, also is incorporating the meaning of that chapter. And Krishna is so amazing that he has he has spoken the right wisdom in the right chapter. Each chapter is a great escape, the story of great escape. And what is the soul trying to escape from? The 8 material elements. 8 material elements, what are they? Earth, fire, water, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego. And the 9th chapter is called as Bhakti Yoga. And in the 9th chapter of the Gita, the beauty of 9, as you know, is that 9, no matter what you multiply with, it remains 9, the addition of the numbers. 9 twos are 18, 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 nines are 81, 8 plus 1 is again 9. So same way, when bhakti is added to anything, that element transforms its characteristic into bhakti. You might have read this poem. When bhakti enters food, it is no more food, it becomes prasad. When bhakti enters water, it becomes Chanramrit. When bhakti enters a day, it becomes Ekadashi, or a holy day. When bhakti enters into our fast, it becomes upavas. So in this way, wherever bhakti enters, the power of bhakti is that it transforms the nature. In scriptures, bhakti is compared to a cow. And most temples have this gopura. The entrance of the temple is called as a gopura. And what is the nature of a cow? The cow takes in grass and it gives in milk. Same way in a temple, our material, so-called ephemeral, temporary things, when we utilize that, when we offer it to Krishna, when we engage in Krishna's service, it converts that so-called, ultimately everything is going to fade away like grass, or the value is like that of a grass. But it transforms into something nourishing for our hearts, like the milk. So that's the power of bhakti. And in chapter 9, the benefits of practicing bhakti, the glories of bhakti are 9. There are 9 ways in which a devotee approaches Krishna as a person. There are 9 ways in which Krishna approaches Krishna as an impersonal. There are 9 ways in which Krishna is seen in the nature. So like this, Krishna plays with number 9 in chapter 9. We don't realize that when we don't deeply try to study or try to enlist. But when acharyas explain, when we try to pay attention, and today we are going to shed some light on a small one aspect of the 10th chapter. What is the name of the 10th chapter of the Gita? Opulences of the Absolute. In Sanskrit it is called as Vibhuti Yoga. And Arjuna, especially after Krishna explains the glory of becoming his devotee, he wanted to give us a very tangible ways in which we can see Krishna in everything, in everywhere. I am sure you heard this story that once a disciple was traveling with Prabhupada and in the airport. And in the airport, there was a very beautiful lady passing by. And this disciple, somehow his gaze got stuck on this lady. And he was just looking at her as she was passing by. And then suddenly he realized he is with his guru, with Prabhupada. So he had a heart skip, a beat skip, and then he looked at Prabhupada. That was Prabhupada noticing me. And then he noticed that Prabhupada was only looking at him. And pakda gaya mein. I am got that Prabhupada, is seeing that I was seeing this girl. And then he didn't know what to do. And then Prabhupada asked him, isn't she beautiful? He didn't know what to answer. Because, the very reason he was looking was, she was beautiful. But then if he denies, then why are you looking? And if you're looking, then is this what I have taught you? To stare, to stalk. So he didn't, he was just, mute. And then Prabhupada said, this is just the art. Imagine the artist. If the art is so beautiful, the creation of God, how much more beautiful will be Krishna, who is so beautiful. So don't take this literally and, try to go. Once in Vrindavan, I happened to, was talking to a Brajvasi, and he removed his wallet. And when he removed his wallet, in his wallet, I saw then the most beautiful heroine of the time, Aishwarya Rai's photo in his wallet. And he was a nice person, nice Brajvasi. I said, ये क्या है? आपने इसका क्यों फोटो रखा? तो he said, अरे ये हमारी लाडली है, राधा रानी है. Because in apparent beauty of this world, he is envisioning Krishna's beauty. I don't certify that, you take whoever is your favorite and start to say, this is my Radha, this is my Krishna. But then, how do we start to, get fascinated by Krishna? Because we cannot serve Krishna unless we are fascinated by Krishna. In this world also, the moment, why so many marriages after a while start to become dull and boring or like a battlefield? Because the fascination for each other starts to fade away. One of the devotees that I know, he came to me after his marriage and he said, Prabhuji, when I went to look at, see this girl for my marriage, so when I was sitting in the room, I saw a note there that get up at 4 a.m. And because he was a devotee, he really liked that. Such a good aspiration to get up at 4 a.m. And once he got married, it was a shock of his life. That was only her aspiration, not the reality. She used to get up at 8 a.m., but at least she had the aspiration. So sometimes our expectations, our dreams that how this person will be, and especially when we start to live with anyone, their evil side, their irritating side starts to come out. And the fascination for that, we have that for that person, even if it is your own spiritual master, can start to go away if you don't see in the true context. So therefore, to serve Krishna, to serve and to be Krishna conscious, we have to keep our fascination going on. And the day we are no more fascinated, and when the day we don't spend time to hear about Krishna, because one of the main ways is to get fascinated about a person is through hearing the glories of that person, how he achieved, say how he won this war, or how he settled this dispute. So Krishna's different glories are mentioned in this chapter. These are Indian rupees. These are all very old currency. Don't carry much value now, especially after if the government declares, as it happened in India, demonetization, where your currency suddenly becomes of no value. So Prabhupada always mentioned that everything is zero without the Lord, who is the digit that transforms 0 into 10, 2 zeros into 100, 3 zeros into 1000, and so on. Thus, a zero man cannot become happy without the association of the Lord, the Supreme One. So, this chapter is about ones, the Supreme One, which is Krishna, and all his energies, which are like the zero. And only when all his vibhutis are seen in context with Krishna, are engaged in service of Krishna, then our dasha, this is called as dasha, right? In 10 Sanskrit is called. Our dasha changes when our disha is Krishna. Else all these zeros, the attraction of this world, are like a nasha. Nasha in Hindi, like a illusion, like a intoxication. And with this understanding that we can have as many zeros, as many things in this world, but understand that without connection with that, with Krishna, all that we have is ultimately zero. There is a story of a king who was quite antagonistic, or not that spiritual, and a sadhu visited him. And this sadhu understood कि ये तो गीता वीता सुनेगा नहीं. So he used a trick. He said, I can read hands. And even now when I travel, लोग आके पूछते हैं, स्वामी जी हाथ देखना आता है? So once in our book distribution, one devotee said, हाँ हाथ देखना आता है. और हाथ देखे वो बोले, बहुत बुरी खबर है. क्या है? तुम मरने वाला है. अरे क्या करें? ये गीता लो. गीता लोगे तो आप मृत्यु से बच जाएंगे. Of course, a strategy, but not totally wrong, not totally right. So this sadhu went and told the king that I can look at your hand and read your future. So immediately sadhu said, sadhu ko bola, देखिए हाथ देखिए. And the sadhu said, I have a good news and I have a bad news. Which one you want to hear first? How many want to hear good news first? Raise your hand. Few people. How many of you here want to hear bad news first? Raise your hand. Pessimistic लोग हैं आप. बुरा सुनना चाहते हैं? No, you are intelligent. कि आखिरी चीज जो है मीठा होना चाहिए. पहले तीखा खा लेंगे. So the sadhu was told, no, भाई पहले बुरी खबर सुना दो, बाद में अच्छी खबर सुना दो, थोड़ा मन को हल्का लगेगा. So and the sadhu said that same thing, that the bad news is that you're going to die very soon. But the good news is that because you have been a very pious king, you are going to go to the Swargaloka, heavens. So the king became a bit pacified. Then he said, the story doesn't end there. There is a bad news and a good news further. The bad news is that in the heaven there is too much crowd now. बहुत लोग हैं उधर, and people don't prefer crowded places. Yesterday somebody was saying, Prabhuji, I don't go to the program because it's too crowded. I'd have to wait for long time for prasad. So therefore I don't go for the program. So the bad news is too crowded, but the good news is that you have been allotted a very good villa, a separate space. So don't worry. But the bad news in that villa that you have been allotted is that there are a lot of mosquitoes. A lot of mosquitoes are there. But the good news is that there is a mosquito net there. But the bad news about the mosquito net is that there is a hole in the mosquito net. But the good news about the hole is that there is a thread there available. But the bad news is that there is no needle in the heaven available. So I suggest you, while you go to heaven, you take a needle with you. एक सुई लेके जाना मरते समय. So he read all this good news, bad news story. And then he realized, I cannot take a needle. खाली हाथ आते हैं, खाली हाथ जाते हैं, रोते हुए आते हैं, रुलाते हुए जाते हैं. So he said to the king, to the sage, I cannot take a needle. Then the sage said, that's what I want to tell you. You are so much possessive about all that you are trying to acquire. But did you realize that everything is zero for you after your death? Sometimes, even while living, if there is a calamity, a tsunami or earthquake, suddenly at the blink of a moment, everything that we possess to be our wealth, property, relationships, everything vanishes, becomes valueless like a zero. But when we connect that to Krishna, when we see what we have in our life as not belonging to me, but it is Krishna's who has gifted me this, then that zero has that, when it has association with one, then that zero gets great value, and then it becomes 10. So 1, 0, 10. The more zeros you have, the more skills, talents, wealth you have, the more and more you can become valuable, if provided that one is there to serve Krishna. So this chapter is about becoming enriched inside our heart by connecting everything that we have with Krishna. Otherwise, in spite of possessing a lot, people are still gloomy. There is more depression, more mental illnesses in developed countries, in rich communities, than in poor communities. I preach at a place in Worli called as Lodha Park. There I met a girl who was only 5 years old, and she is in depression, taking pills. Why? How can a 5-year-old girl have depression? Because she is born and brought up so royally, everything at the beck of her call, that जो चाहिए आ जाता है. And usually, no, the children are the kings of the house or the queens of the house. Everything happens by their will and command. Therefore, a lot of advertisements are also aimed for the kids. In the mall, when you go, whatever attracts kids are kept at the lower levels, so that they get glued on them. But once this kid goes to the school, in the school, can she sit anywhere that she wants? Can she dictate what teacher should teach or not teach? So all her 4 years of her life, everything was at her command, and now she cannot do that. And बच्चे तो देखते हैं ये कितना अमीर है, कौन है. बच्चे तो खींचते ही हैं, there is bullying everywhere, or no, and she just could not handle that, and her whole self-esteem and her value fell so much that she was like a totally morose girl at the age of 5. So only when we connect with Krishna, like Prahlad Maharaj, then we are actually enriched. And bhakti makes us enriched. You may be rich from outside, that's up to the karma and the efforts that you put. But bhakti is the art of becoming wealthy within. अंदर से जो wealthy है, he doesn't not hanker. I think here in Singapore or somewhere else there is a shark tank in which you can swim with the sharks. Is it here or somewhere else? So you can swim with the sharks. Although sharks are man-eaters, no, human eaters, not man or woman, they eat. But amazingly, in this tank, you can swim with the sharks, because the trick is that they feed the sharks so full that before they enter the tank, that they have no more desire for eating. And they don't carry any bags to कल के लिए पैक करके लेके जाता हूँ. Animals, once they are full, they don't trouble anyone, usually, unless you irritate them. So these sharks are sent into the tank, fed to their neck, that they have no space left to eat any human. So therefore they swim on their own, and humans can peacefully swim next to the shark. A great lesson that when we are empty within, that's when we start to expect from people around us and depend on people around us, that he will do this for me, my boss will do this or that. April is usually appraisal time, and they said why April 1 is considered as April Fool's Day, because many people in the April month become fooled by their bosses, because they expect appraisals, and appraisals don't happen the way they expect. One of my friends was given the Best Employee of the Year award, and he was given a watch, and from next day onwards his job timings were increased by 4 hours. Said, you are the best employee, you have to set the standards. So you come the earliest and you leave the last. And he said, Prabhuji, ये award नहीं है, ये punishment है. So the Gita, this chapter is about how we can enrich. And let me go to the verse that I wanted to focus today. The highest manifestation of the love that anyone possesses is given in these 4 verses. The 4 verses of this chapter, 10 chapter, are considered as the most essential verses of the Gita, called as the Chatushloki Gita. I am sure in the last few sessions on Saturday, these verses might have been wonderfully discussed. But this is a discussion that one of the acharyas gives of how these 4 verses are the summary narration of the highest pastimes that Krishna manifested in this world of Rasa Leela. So we'll just recite. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam bhuda bhava samanvita. Most of the times when this verse is spoken, people take objection to this verse. That why is he boasting that I am God? But he is not boasting, he is stating so that we have faith in the prescription he is giving. Like if a doctor says, I have specialized in neurology or urology, therefore what I prescribe is, you can have trust. So to have trust in the message, Krishna is clarifying that don't think I am just stating and I don't have any position. So therefore, he is humbly explaining that he is the Supreme Lord from whom everything is coming. This is the usual understanding that we have. But one of the Sri Vaishnava Acharyas under Yamunacharya wrote a book called as Gita the Sangraha, in which he explains some of these beautiful explanations. He says that this is not Krishna is declaring, this is Krishna explaining how the devotees see him. One is tattva, philosophy, understanding that it is Krishna who is the Supreme Lord. Krishna is the creator of the world. That's this. But in your world, is Krishna carrying any prominence? Because there is the world and there is our world. हमारे दुनिया में हम क्या perception रखते हैं, that is up to us. And truth of the world, Krishna is explaining. But here in this chapter, here in this verse, Krishna is explaining. You're doing some kind of manifestations. Krishna is explaining that how his devotees make him their everything. So, aham sarvasya prabhavo is not Krishna saying, I am the creator of everything. He is saying, my devotees make me in their life, every aspect in their life, I am there. So I make everything is the general understanding. But then devotees, he makes me his everything. भगवान ने सब कुछ बनाया, वो तो रियलिटी है. लेकिन क्या हम हमारा जीवन में सब कुछ भगवान का बना रहे, ये हमारे ऊपर है. And the gopis of Vrindavan, the devotees of Vrindavan, the pure devotees, make Krishna their everything. There is this beautiful bhajan by Bilumangal Thakur called as Govinda Damodara Stotra. Agre kuruna mata pandavanam dushyasanena hritavastra kesha Krishna tadakroshananyanatha Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Bilumangal Thakur, a blind saint of Vrindavan, he writes how different devotees make Krishna their everything. Like Draupadi, in her most helpless situation, Krishna in Akrosh, in great helplessness, she makes Krishna as Ananyanatha. The Jagannath is there, but do we make him as our Nath? Draupadi understands this reality when everything else is stripped away from her. Not just physically, but emotionally. Husbands are not giving her support. The fathers, the grandfathers, nobody is standing for her. At that time, she realizes only Krishna is there who can support me, and she raises her hands and she chants, Hey Govinda, Hey Damodar, Hey Madhav. Immediately Krishna manifests as the sari. The first textile mill ever existed was the Krishna Textiles in Hastinapur. So much of this sari Krishna sent, and usually in the serials they show Krishna is like coming, but it wasn't like that. It was just unlimited sari that came out. And then Dushasana gets tired, and then Dhritarashtra is afraid that what will happen, a curse will come, so he begs pardon, and then Draupadi asks for two things, relieve my husbands of the slavery and give back whatever they have earned. And once they go, it is said that all that sari that Draupadi के ऊपर जो भगवान ने बरसाया था, all of that was still there. And the sari was not just one plain color sari, because Krishna manifested as the sari. It had all the varieties of sari that ever existed in the creation. Zari sari, cotton sari. Matajis can help me what all different types of sari exist. Jitne bhi hai utne, the best of the quality saris were lying in the middle. And all the queens of the Kauravas, sabki aankh uske upar padi. And they all rushed. Once the sabha emptied, they all rushed. क्योंकि मुफ्त का साड़ी मिलने वाला है. And in Bombay we say, जहाँ पे भी कुछ फुकट वहाँ पे हम प्रकट. So everybody went there to snatch on to these saris. And unfortunately, एक variety का वहाँ पे एक ही piece भगवान ने छोड़ा था. Imagine 100 ladies fighting for saris. पूरा युद्ध खड़ा हो गया उधर. कुरुक्षेत्र में तो युद्ध हुआ था उनके बीच में, लेकिन भगवान ने इधर युद्ध करा दिया. And finally, whoever was the eldest or whatever, they all wore the saris. And because they were the best of the lot, there was a festival, in-house festival, in which they all wore these saris. And right at the moment of the occasion, all the saris vanished. And they all became nirvastra. And they all ran. Bhagwan chodte nahi hai. Because they tried to disrobe Draupadi. Krishna disrobed 100 queens. But with giving some, like Narasimhadev played with the Hiranyakashipu for a while. So Krishna showed, this is one of the folk stories that is told. So Draupadi, she remembered Krishna. As the gopis are milking Krishna, the gopis are milking, what are they remembering? दूध कितने में बेचना है, कितना आएगा? No. Bilavangal Thakur sings, the gopis are only singing Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. As the construction workers are putting brick after brick, are they thinking kitna vetan aayega aaj? They are only remembering Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. The parrot. So like that, beautiful Govinda, like lengthy thing. How the devotee, in every aspect of his life, he makes Krishna as the main purpose of everything. That is the special meaning of Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. मेरा भक्त ना केवल मेरे लिए जीता है वो. He only lives for me and matta sarvam pravartati. What does matta sarvam? He moves. उसका movement भी केवल मेरे लिए है. Only for my pleasure he moves. He goes if it is for the pleasure of Krishna, as Ambarish Maharaj prays. Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane Karo Harer Mandira Marjanadishu. These words are only glorious when I glorify the Vaikunta, the King of Vaikunta. These hands are only glorious, otherwise they are zero. My words are zero if they are not connected with Krishna. These hands are zero if they are not connected with, if they don't serve the Harer Karo Harer Mandira Marjanadishu. What happened? Acha, you're trying to show the verse. So my hands are only useful, they don't carry any value when I clean the temple of the Lord. So like that beautiful narration. Again the same concept of 1 and 0. So just in the chapter number, the message of the chapter is there, that only if you connect with Krishna, everything becomes of value, otherwise 0 has no value. So the gopis of Vrindavan, understanding iti matva, understanding matva means understanding that Krishna is calling us, bhajante mam, to please me. They gave up their logic and their sentiments for their family. How can I leave? No, my child, this, that. And they ran. Also another meaning is that usually our emotions and our logic don't combine together, because we feel for something, but like in a college, the student may be feeling this class is boring, but he has to sit there because his intelligence is nourished by that, but for his feelings he may watch to go a movie. In the movie, a hero is doing all kinds of things which are not logical, like Rajnikant or nowadays the movies. If you hit someone, he goes and falls like 2 miles away. Or say bullet is shot and then the hero is running along with the bullet and goes and stops the person. So all these are not logical. They may be having good feeling. But in Krishna consciousness, in serving Krishna, both our emotion and our ration, they come together, because this is a process where this is not overtly logical nor overtly sentimental. It is a perfect harmony of, that's what philosophy. So Sophy means thinking, and philo means love. Where love and thoughts come together, that is philosophy, that is true bhakti. So all these devotees, they all run towards Krishna, knowing that Brahmanyo Devaki Putra, that the real person who is supposed to be pleased, because they have made me everything moves with me, for me in their life. But there is an issue which comes in the next verse. Macchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantasya mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. A very special word is used, which is here called as chitta. And in the understanding of the Vedic terminologies, chitta usually is translated as consciousness. Macchitta means they always remember me. But there is a slight technical difference between chit and chitta. So chit means pure consciousness, and chitta means pure consciousness when it is slightly contaminated with material things. So, like water, when water is in the clouds, it is pure. But as it starts to come to the lower spheres, it starts to slightly get affected, contaminated. So, chit means the Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. The purest of consciousness is called as Sat Chit Ananda. The spiritual consciousness is called as Chit. But Chitta, in the Bhagavatam is said, Chitta what is? Tan Mahad Atmakam. When the consciousness gets affected by slight Mahad Tattva or slight false ego, it is called as Chitta. So highly absorbed in Krishna, but slightly affected by the pride that Krishna is with me. So if you know the context of the Bhagavatam, then the gopis, when Krishna was dancing with the gopis somehow developed this slight pride that Mad gata prana, ye mere liye, he is moving as per my desires. He is only for me, and I am so special that Krishna is only moving for me. And what happens? The moment they start to develop this slight pride, it's still very much about Krishna, but slight pride, then Krishna gata, their life energy, their Krishna goes away from there. Krishna vanishes suddenly. And when Krishna vanishes suddenly, they are all desperately searching for Krishna. Where is Krishna? Because not just Krishna, who is their life air, has moved, then now they are not able to remain sane in absence of Krishna. सबका प्राण अलग अलग चीजों में रहता है. In Kali Yuga, previous time, the life air used to be in the food. इसके लिए जब खाते नहीं तो फिर लोग हो जाते. आजकल बोलते हैं सबका प्राण जो है उनके मोबाइल में घुस गया है. There is a nomophobia. 2 सेकंड तक मोबाइल टच में नहीं है तो यू बिकम ब्रेथलेस. कहाँ गया मोबाइल? कॉन्स्टेंटली मोबाइल का टच में रहना चाहिए. So for the gopis, it was not annagata prana, it was not mobile gata prana, it was Krishna gata prana. And because Krishna moved away, their life air has vanished, and therefore they were desperately searching for Krishna. And so this is a constant struggle that thoda sa bhakti karte hain, somehow or other pride overcomes us, and then whatever happiness we were getting in bhakti starts to vanish, and Krishna is no more in the picture. He is there, but then Maya tinges us. तुम तो अभी 20 साल से डिवोटी हो, तुम तो अभी ये हो. You start to expect respect. You start to expect, this should happen, people should hear me. So the dharma kshetra becomes kurukshetra. The Machchitta, when Machchitta happens, then Madgata prana happens. But what is the solution? Solution is not going to come from the top. The devotees, because they are still remorseful that so what do? They try to help each other. Bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti charamanchicha. Although I have gone away, they don't discourage each other. They try to give each other the wisdom. No, Krishna will come. Let us try to refine our bhakti. Let us try to improve our life. Because Krishna gets attracted where there is pure love, and he goes away where there is even a slight tinge of pride. And why does Krishna do this? In the Bible, now suddenly Bible, but a very relevant verse even for devotees. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. So when we have Krishna in our life, when we take to Krishna consciousness, Krishna expects, if you want more mercy, then you have to get more purified. Yes, Krishna gives free rewards. Like a taster, yesterday I went to some place and he was giving me samples of ice cream. Thoda sa khao. But if you want a full thing, then you have to pay $5. So, if you want more mercy, then you have to get more purified. And Krishna, ultimate his expectation is that the devotee comes to me. So I will quickly finish this. So the devotees engage in bhajan kirtan, shravan kirtan smaran. And as they do this, and the whole Bhagavatam is given to us so that we can hear and chant about Krishna and educate about Krishna. And the gopis also do this. They have this kirtan. The Gopi Gita is there, the 32nd, the 31st chapter, where Krishna is described in the separation of the Krishna. They all chant beautiful verse. Bhakti Charu Maharaj made it even more sweeter and famous. Tava katamritam tapta jivanam kavi biriditam kalmashapaham shravana mangalam Srimadatam bhuvi grinanti ye bhuridajana. Gopis singing, who were relicious your nectar through hearing and chanting, they are the true well-wishers because they are relieving our separation from Krishna. And this is what is happening in the Golok Sankirtan movement, which has come down as the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The same Rasa Leela, singing as manifested in this world as the Harinam Sankirtan by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, Srila Prabhupada's mercy, and Parasparam. We have to help each other. So in preparation, in separation, so preparation. So, okay, we are separated from Krishna. वो जब आएंगे तो मैं भक्ति करूँगा. Not like that. We have to prepare ourselves so Krishna comes back. So there requires three things, as in this verse. In the next verse, what is spoken? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. So my devotees, what do? Tesha means they practice together. Tesha means वो लोग सब मिलके. So there is unity amongst devotees. And yukta means there is endeavor. How can we serve better? How can we hear more? And there is priti, love between the devotees. And which is also we see in the Bhagavatam, in the Rasa Leela section. Same is used. All the gopis together come to glorify Krishna and samhata. And they all unitedly endeavor to call Krishna. And as they are searching for Krishna, they find Srimati Radharani also in separation from Krishna, because Krishna leaves her also. And she is also as they are searching for lotus feet of Krishna, they find Guru, who is Srimati Radharani, a advanced devotee, much more advanced than all the gopis. So when you are constantly engaged in Krishna, then dadami, I send you the spiritual master, like Srimati Radharani, who can take you to Krishna. So a guru is not, he has seen Krishna, but he is desperately searching for Krishna. Yes, he is, like Prabhupada never claimed that he has, the mood of the acharyas is that I am in separation from Krishna and I am like Radharani searching for Krishna. So Dadrushu Priya, in separation from Krishna. And Krishna gives us that sangati, that association of a great soul who can take us to Krishna, or in her association, in their association, yena mam upayantite. And what does Radharani do? She brings us to Krishna. She prepares us to Krishna. As in our temple, Srimati Radharani having this pose. He is offering everything to Krishna. And in that verse, Krishna is explaining, you have to approach a guru who is the buddhi personified, who is the intelligence personified, who will take us to Krishna. And then what happens? Nashayame atma bhavastu. All the darkness, all the moroseness that is there is removed, because they are Krishna bhavana. They are trying to come together like ISKCON together to practice the process of bhakti, being eager for Krishna, Krishna darshana lalasa. And then it said that aham ajnana jam tama, I remove their ignorance, their darkness, by manifesting myself. Out of what? Because they were reciting? No, out of my own compassion. Tesha evanu kampartam. By my compassion, like Damodar Lila, it was Krishna became softened by the efforts of Yashoda, and he agreed to get bound. So same way, I agree to get bound by my devotees' love, and I reappear in their life now that they have got purified. So the prayojana is to achieve Krishna at the end of our lives, but it only happens when there is intense yachana, intense eagerness for Krishna. Ultimately, all the zeros, they associate with Krishna, who is the one, and then there is the divine combination of ones and zeros. So, in short, without one we are zero, and to be with one we have to be zero. Without Krishna, our life is like zero. Ultimately, everything is going to go away. But to be with Krishna, we have to be totally humble, having no pride. Trinadapi sunichena taroriva sahishuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. So therefore, let us aspire to be that zero, not a hero, not thinking that having any kind of pride. Of course, it's a difficult journey, but with the help of spiritual master, it is possible. And that is this a small cockroach. And with the divine support of this Sangha, we can finally realize, become our dasha, our fortune can change from being just a zero to be in association with Krishna. That's the true worth of our life. And of course, the whole chapter further enumerates how we can see Krishna in everything and make aham sarvasya prabhu. Like devotees, when they drink water, we have to remember Krishna. When we see a mountain, we have to remember Krishna. When we read the name Singapore, we should remember Mayapur. When we see a cockroach, we should remember Prahlad Maharaj. So, this way, Krishna is our life. So that is as Yamunacharya explains, that is the deeper meaning of this beautiful narration. How, just like Rasalila is the highest of the pastimes, the devotees see even in the Bhagavad Gita all the different love-filled pastimes of Krishna. So in this little book that I wrote, also something like this, and also an easier explanation of how each chapter is a summary. Like this chapter I mention as, I'm stopping now. Excuse me for going 10 minutes over time. I mention as a grand museum. to get fascinated by different things, but of course in connection with Krishna. Like in Jaipur, if you go, there is Maharana Pratap's museum. So everything that is connected, you see how he wore this, how he fought with this. So this world is a grand museum, but remember who it belongs to and use it for his service. So I'll stop here, and if you have any questions, maybe after the one question. If something was a bouncer, the time was short for me to explain fully the connection between the Raslil and these 4 verses, but within the time I try to do justice. So any questions about what we discussed today? No questions? Everything is understood or nothing is understood?
Jai Braj Mohan Prabhu ki. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for such a wonderful and insightful class. Let's give Prabhu 3 loud Hari Bols. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Thank you, Prabhu. Let us all rise for Guru Aarti now.
Can I announce about the book? Yeah, you can do that. I can look. You can announce. That will be I can sign and there are books available.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Matajis. Just before the Gora Aarti, Prabhuji has brought his book, Gita Sutra, 18 Life Essential. Navgar Prabhu, are you there?